Yeah, my name is Sachin Vaze. I am a volunteer at Vidnyan Vibhag of Maharashtra Seva Sangh, Mulund. Since this lockdown is going on, we have started with the online webinars, and this is our third webinar today. And again, we have come with a very interesting topic, climate change, which is like a very obvious reality to all of us. But there are many technical things related to the topic. So we have got Dr. Karlekar sir today. So he will be presenting his presentation for around 40 minutes, and everyone should be able to post their questions or queries on the chat box. I repeat, all of you should be writing your questions on the chat box. We will not be having any separate Q&A session. So feel free to write any queries and questions you have in the chat box. So to begin with today's topic, let me first introduce you to Mr. Karlekar sir. Dr. Shrikant Karlekar has done MSc PhD in the field of geology. He was the head at the Department of Geography at SP College, Pune. He also served as a Dean at Faculty of Earth Sciences in Tilak Maharashtra Vidyapit, Pune. He has published a lot of research papers and technical presentations. Apart from that, he has also taken training in photogrammetry and aerial photo interpretation at Indian Photo Interpretation Institute, Dehradun, from July 1979 to December 1979. He worked as a professor and head of Department of Geography, as I said, and he has received many awards during his tenure. He was awarded by the Best Teacher Award by Maharashtra Bhugol Shastra Parishad in 2005. Later, he was also awarded with LG Deshpande Award by LG Deshpande Pratishthan in 2008. He also received Geography Teacher Award by Deccan Geographical Society of India in 2012. And also he has received Swatantraveer Savarkar Award for the book Prithvi Jidnyasa by Pune Marathi Granthalaya. So we are really happy to have him with us today. And as I said, he will be giving his presentation now and it will be around 40 minutes. And feel free to post your questions and queries, and we'll select a few questions, and then we will ask the questions in the question answer session. But but again I will repeat that there is no mic access for audience. You have to write your questions from the chat box. So keep posting, keep asking your queries. And I think I am done with my introduction part. I think Vaibhav, you can now hand over to Dr. Karlekar sir. Thanks a lot.
Thanks a lot, Sachin, for the introduction. And everyone, default is already muted, as you all are aware, as my friend Sachin just mentioned. And please keep writing your queries, or if you have any problems in the audio or whatever, in the chat box. The best way to resolve any technical issues is try and rejoin, because there could be bandwidth issues. And so just quit and join the meeting again anytime. And keep posting your questions in the chat at any time of the session. Your question would be noted at the end, and it would be asked to the speaker. I hand over to Dr. Shrikant Karlekar now.
Thank you, Sachin. Okay, very good morning to all of you. As you know, this particular session is organized by Maharashtra Seva Sangh Mulund, Vidnyan Vibhag. The topic on which I am going to speak today is climate change and its effects on the ecology and environment. Now we begin with a simple definition of what a climate change is. Climate change is a long-term shift in weather conditions identified by changes in temperature, precipitation, winds, and other indicators. Now, for those who are not, who do not know these terms, I will slightly explain. Temperature you will know. The precipitation basically is a rainfall, the amount of wind, and other. These are the major indicators of climate or the weather. So this is a long-term shift basically. Climate change is a long-term shift. Climate change can involve both changes in average conditions of temperature, precipitation, winds, etc., and changes in weather variability, including extreme events. It also includes the extreme events in the climate change definition. Now, there are natural as well as human causes for climate change. First of all, we see the natural causes. The Earth's climate is affected by natural factors that are external to the climate system. That is, they affect the climate from outside in the universe, such as changes in the volcanic activity, solar output, inclination of Earth axis, and the Earth's orbit around the Sun, and of course the distribution of continents and oceans, because that is also changing. Of these, the two factors relevant on time scales of contemporary climate change are changes in volcanic activity and changes in the solar radiation. Here you can see the volcanic activity, a representative photograph of that. This you will see our axis of the Earth is slightly inclined, so that also affects the climate change. If there is slight change in the inclination here, that will affect the climate change. The Earth's orbit around the Sun, this is also a very important factor. The distribution, as I said, distribution of these continents, because presently you may be knowing that the distance between these continents is slightly changing, increasing, and in near future probably all these continents will come together and form one more Pangea. So that also is leading to a climate change phenomena. And this is a solar flare. So these are the factors. These are natural causes. These are in brief the human causes. Climate change is also caused by human activities such as burning of fossil fuels, you know all these things, and the conversion of land for forestry and agriculture. Changes in the sunspots and formation of interstellar dust. This is a representative picture of interstellar dust. Also contribute to climate change by way of temperature change. What happens is the temperature changes because of this, because of the interstellar dust and the sunspot changes. Increase in the distribution in the heat propagation. So this also on the global level affects the change in the climate. Global warming is the immediate expression of global change, climate change. ज्याला मराठीमध्ये आपण वैश्विक तापमान वृद्धी असं म्हणतो. I will also give some Marathi terms because you may not be knowing some technical terms. So global warming is the immediate expression of climate change. Global warming is the increase of Earth's average surface temperature due to effect of volcanic eruption. So the global warming is mainly because of these factors: volcanic eruptions like this, greenhouse gases such as carbon dioxide emissions from the burning fossil fuels or from deforestation, which trap the heat that would otherwise escape the Earth. Now, it has also been found that the global temperature and subsequently the climate has changed many times in Earth's history. So this is not a very recent phenomena or the climate change Earth has, experienced many times in its history. The major shift, however, is towards the increase in the temperature. It has been found that the major change in the temperatures is that the temperature is increasing. You can see it here. Initially, this was the scenario. This particular curve shows the normal distribution curve. You can see there is more heat and more hot weather, and the more recorded hot weather. So the change is towards the increase in the temperature. That is a major, you can say a characteristic of the present day climate change. Now these are the 10 indicators of a warming world. How you know that the world is warming and the temperature is increasing and therefore causing the climate change? So the air temperature near the surface, which is also called as the troposphere, this air temperature near the surface of the earth is increasing, and therefore is indicated by the this particular arrow, positive, going up. Humidity increasing, humidity म्हणजे हवेतलं मॉइश्चर हे पण वाढते, हवेमधलं जो ओलसरपणा आहे तो पण वाढतोय. टेम्परेचर ओव्हर ओशन्स is also increasing. Sea surface temperature, the temperature over oceans is increasing, but the sea surface temperature is also increasing. The sea ice is melting. It is shown by this particular arrow. Sea level is increasing. Sea level is increasing. Ocean heat content is also increasing. The heat which is contained in the ocean water is increasing. Temperature over the land is increasing. Snow cover is decreasing. Glaciers are melting. So these are the indicators, and by these indicators we definitely know that the temperature is increasing and ultimately causing a climate change. So this is experienced by many, and therefore these are the indicators. Now how do we know that we are causing global warming? That is, we are also responsible for global warming. Shrinking upper atmosphere. The thickness of the atmosphere, especially the upper atmosphere layer, is shrinking. Its thickness is decreasing nowadays. I will not go into all those details, giving you all the figures. You can only remember that the upper air layer of the atmosphere is shrinking. Less heat is escaping to space because most of the temperature and the heat is being retained within the climate around the earth. So the less heat is escaping. Cooling upper atmosphere. This upper atmosphere is getting cooled. Rising tropopause. Tropopause is the lower section of the climate, and this particular thickness, the thickness of this is increasing because it is rising. Okay, more fossil fuel carbon in the air. Existence of more fossil fuel is in the air. Then less oxygen in the air. Winter warming faster than summer. The nights warming faster than the days. More fossil fuel carbon in the trees. More fossil fuel carbon in corals, म्हणजे प्रवाळ corals. More fossil fuel carbon in oceans, and the pattern of ocean warming. So all these things, they tell me that we are responsible for the global warming, and ultimately we are causing the climate change. Now, what is interesting is this. The coasts are prime locations affected by the climate change. म्हणजे हवामान बदलाचा पहिला मुख्य परिणाम हा समुद्र किनाऱ्यावर होतो असं आपल्याला दिसतं. You will not feel the climate change in the interior of the land, but you can definitely see and experience the climate change effect on the coast. Therefore, coasts are the prime locations, and many people, many scientists, they are now studying the coastal areas and the seashores more in detail to understand the climate change. त्याचा अभ्यास सध्या जास्त चालू आहे, सी शोअर्स आणि कोस्टल एरियाचा. Climate change immediately affects the coastal environments of the world through the sea level rise and its associated impacts. How you will know that sea level is rising? Because of some associated impacts. Now this includes more frequent storms and flooding. You will experience number of small storms. This year also in 2019 we experienced many more storms even after the conclusion of the monsoon. Then flooding. The intensity of flooding is increasing. The frequency of flooding is also increasing. Higher rates of beach erosion. म्हणजे किनारपट्ट्यांची धूप ही जास्त वेगाने होते आहे असं आपल्या लक्षात. Submergence of coastal wetlands. जी wetlands आहेत, they are immersed on the coast, and the salt water is intruding. म्हणजे खारट पाणी हे समुद्र किनाऱ्यावर जास्त आत येत आहे. These stressors, these are all stressors. They are putting some coastal and inland developments at increasing risk of damage. So by this we know the sea level is rising and causing the climate change. Okay, we'll see the mechanism. This is a very vast subject. Let me tell you, this cannot be, completed in a time span of 1 hour. I am giving you only salient features and giving you the major aspects of mechanism. The mechanism of climate change usually begins with the melting of icebergs due to global warming from north and south pole. म्हणजे उत्तर ध्रुव आणि दक्षिण ध्रुव इथं ही प्रक्रिया सुरू होते. The process of climate change due to what? Due to the melting of ice or melting of icebergs. So that is the point which instigates the climate change. That is the process which initiates the climate change. Now NASA study finds that perennial sea ice in the Arctic is melting faster than previously thought at a rate of 9% per decade. If these melting rates continue for a few more decades, the perennial sea ice will likely disappear entirely within this century due to rising temperatures and interactions between the ice, ocean, and the atmosphere that accelerate the melting process. What is important is this: the Arctic ice is melting faster than the Antarctic ice. This is the Arctic sea ice, a representative photograph. Arctic will be free of ice by 2030. म्हणजे इतका बर्फ वितळणार आहे आर्क्टिक वरचा की 2030 मध्ये आर्क्टिक वरती काही बर्फ शिल्लक राहणार नाही ड्यू टू इन्क्रीज इन द टेम्परेचर. Now see, this is very, very interesting how it happens, how the mechanism takes place. The southern limit of the northern icebergs, these are the northern icebergs here in this area, and the southern limit of the iceberg varies greatly. It changes. There is a great variation in the number of these icebergs. The iceberg number is also increasing. There is a danger that they may reach 30 degrees north latitude. This is here. I will explain to you in brief. Okay. In very near future, these icebergs which are presently occupying these areas. These icebergs are melting and they are moving in this direction. Okay, they are coming close to 30 degrees north parallel. This is a subtropical area. This is a tropical area. This is low pressure area. This is a high pressure area. Okay. Now this is a very important aspect. The ice is moving in this direction. It is shown here. It is shown here. We are here. We are in the tropical area. See. Okay. And this is moving in this direction. The mid-latitude cyclones will shift towards the equatorial regions. So the cyclones which are generated here will definitely shift in this direction. That is, they will shift towards the equator. They will shift towards the tropical areas, monsoon areas. So we will experience more storms because the ice is moving in this direction, causing the development of these storms which are moving in this direction. So that is a major issue in the climate change. It is feared that due to southerly movement of sea ice, temperate cyclones may shift their paths equatorwards in the near future. The thing which I explained to you just now, they will move like this. This is the polar area. This is the equatorial area. They will be moving in this direction. Same happens with the southern hemisphere. The southern icebergs are also moving speedily to the north. This is the southern hemisphere, Antarctic area, and the icebergs from this, the melted ice here, is moving in this direction. They will occupy area of 35, 45, 50 degrees south parallel. Okay, and ultimately they will also move in this direction, causing many storms here. So the most important area which will be affected by climate change in near future is our area, the tropical area, the monsoon area, like India. More the ice melts, more the sun's rays are absorbed into the dark ocean instead of being reflected back into the atmosphere. This will further warm the ocean and melt even more sea ice. Again, a representative picture how a melted ice looks like. The influx of fresh water from the melting ice is making seawater at higher latitudes less dense. In fact, data shows that the North Atlantic has become fresher over the past several decades. म्हणजे अटलांटिक महासागराचा उत्तरेकडच्या भागातलं पाणी त्याचा खारटपणा कमी झालाय because the ice is moving from the northern hemisphere, north pole to these areas. The less dense water will not be able to sink and circulate through the deep ocean as it does currently, making it very simple the meaning of this is the circulation pattern in the ocean will change as a result of climate change, as a result of these movements. Thus, melting of glaciers is a major worldwide effect of climate change in terms of global temperature increase. So you will see a remnant of ice here. This is from Alps area. Only this much ice is remaining. All this was covered. This is a permanent ice cover. Okay, this is again a very interesting outcome of the melting of ice. Melting of glaciers has started exposing hitherto unknown world covered under the thick piles of snow. We were unaware of these such things because all these things were covered under the piles of snow. Remains of 2 Australian soldiers here, shown here, exposed after the melting of Bresana Glacier in Italy, 2014. That glacier is here. It is shown by a 3-dimensional photograph here. After the melting of glaciers, these things they are getting exposed. So this gives me a lot of information about the things which were covered or which are covered. Yet another example, these are mummified remains of soldiers in the Second World War. They are exposed now. Okay, so you can also find out the movement of troops, in which direction the troops moved, and the things like that. This is a forest exposed after the melting of Alaska Glacier. This is Alaska Glacier, and the tongue of the glacier melted, and this particular forest which was covered is now exposed. So this gives me more information about the paleo forest in these areas. There is a large increase in the damaging ultraviolet radiation as a result of global climate change, and this is very, very devastating. This has a very devastating effect. You will also experience, most of us they experience the increase in the ultraviolet radiation, especially in the June-July months. This is basically a result of climate change. Climate change is inducing the more ultraviolet radiation. Is an increase in the amount of ultraviolet radiation. Should I repeat? Are you able to see? The decrease of ozone amounts in the upper atmosphere due to climate change above Antarctic and nearby regions between 80 and 2000 has caused an increase in the amount of ultraviolet radiation. You can see that this is ozone hole, and the increase in the ozone hole by this particular spectrum, you can see how it has increased. The ozone hole has increased because of climate change. Now these are some effects of the climate change. Overexposure to ultraviolet radiation changes the flowering times of some kinds of plants and affects the animals that depend on them. Okay, so such things, plants and animals, they are also getting affected because of the exposure to ultraviolet radiation. Corals are particularly sensitive to ultraviolet radiation. According to recent research, an entire coral colonies have been wiped out in recent years. Again a result of climate change, again a result of ultraviolet radiation increase due to climate change. Increased ultraviolet radiation has caused a sharp rise in the deaths of marine species, many marine species. Their death again is connected to the ultraviolet radiation increase, which is a consequence of climate change. Okay, these are some of the effects. This is a major effect of rising sea level. The areas around Amsterdam, Netherlands, how much area will be drowned by say 2070. This all total area marked red. Red dots show areas threatened by more than 2 meters, equal to or more than 2 meters rise in sea level. 2 मीटरनी पाण्याची पातळी वाढली समुद्राची, तर हा एवढा सगळा समुद्र किनारा हा पाण्याखाली जाईल by 2070. Our areas will be impacted more. The impact of change on the Indian coast is significant. India has 5,700 kilometers long stretch of coast. The coast is very complex as regards the landforms and processes, but all these coastlines, Gujarat, Maharashtra, Goa, Karnataka, etc., all these, they are experiencing accelerated erosion, म्हणजे झीज वाढली आहे किनाऱ्यावरची, प्रोग्रेसिव्ह सिल्टेशन, गाळ साठलाय, खड्यांच्या मध्ये गाळ साठतोय, and the overall degradation of marine ecosystems are the signs of change in the recent years. You must have also experienced these things along the coastline, our coastline. Sea level fluctuations, cyclonic storms, and changing coastal climate is also complicating the issue. We are more concerned about our coastlines due to the climate change. The Kolkata coastline will look like this by 2070, equal to or more than 2 meters rise in the sea level will have or will show this type of scenario in case of Kolkata. This is regarding Mumbai. Because Mumbai coastline is a rocky coastline, this one, there are many rocks here, and you will see that it's not like a Kolkata shoreline, it's not like Amsterdam shoreline coastline. You see the ingress of water in terms of dots or limited areas. But these are the dots. The red dots, they show areas threatened by equal to or greater than 2 meters rise in the sea level in Kalyan, Dombivli, that area, Dadar, Virar, etc. Coastal storms and storm flooding, sea level rise would increase the area likely to be inundated by coastal storms, because storm flooding would reach higher inland elevations. High population densities are presently concentrated near water's edge. Several locations throughout the world, and coastal populations are still growing. Because of the highly developing nature of coast, a large population and considerable private property and public infrastructure are potentially at risk of hazardous events, that is inundation and flooding, associated with sea level. Why I am stressing this particular point is sea level is the area which is experiencing the effect of climate change first. So I must know in what particular manner the climate change is being reflected in the nature. Land below 5 feet level, 1.5 meters, especially on the coast in general, could be permanently lost. All these villages could be permanently lost in near future due to inundation caused by climate change, caused by rise in the sea level. This is the beach erosion. You can see this beach earlier. With climate change, rates of beach erosion would double or triple by 2020, that is this year, 3 to 6 times by 2050, and 4 to 10 times by 2080, relative to the first decade of the 21st century. So you see this one, 6 times, 4 times, you see the rate at which the coastlines are getting eroded. Coastal erosion is clearly visible on many sandy beaches in our areas, Konkan coast. This is Mitmumbri beach near Devgarh. This I am giving you as an example, representative of along our beach. You can see how much erosion has taken place. All this beach sector has been eroded and the water is increasing, going into the sea. And this is a recent phenomena, okay, only last year phenomena. The rapid rise in the sea level could cause a dramatic increase in the volcanic eruptions. This thing appears to be very surprising, according to a new study. In and around volcanoes, म्हणजे हा जो ज्वालामुखी आहे त्याच्या आजूबाजूला, there is a more groundwater which increases water vapor in or and near magma chambers, and hence increases the activity of volatiles, contributing to volcanic eruptions. So as the climate change increases, as the sea level increases, there will be a more number of volcanic eruptions. So that is a result. Now changing behavior of monsoons is yet another effect of climate change, and we are facing this, we are seeing this from last 3 to 4 years. This is a major effect of climate change, especially for monsoon countries in general and India in particular. And therefore this climate change is of more concern to our country. It is changing the total behavior of monsoon. Now this, without going into the other details, because we don't have much time, without going into much details, we'll see how this particular climate change is affected in monsoons. It is being reflected I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It is being reflected in the late onset of monsoon. म्हणजे monsoon उशिरा सुरू होणं. However, you cannot be very sure about this. It may so happen that this year the monsoon may start early. This is not very sure, but this is a tendency. Late onset of monsoon, significant increase in the amount of rainfall. The rainfall amount will increase. पावसाचं मान वाढेल. Development of intense cyclones and depressions even after monsoon. This again we have experienced last year, 2019. We have experienced. There were 4 to 5 cyclones after the conclusion of the monsoon. Frequent cloud burst, म्हणजे ढगफुटी. अनेक वेळा होणारी ढगफुटी. This also we have experienced in Domboli, Thane, Pune, these regions. This year also we have experienced, and this is considered as an indication of climate change. Late withdrawal of monsoon, many days after 1st of September, I'm sorry. So the monsoon normally withdraws by 1st of September. 1 September ला monsoon जातो आपल्याकडचं. However, you will see that there is a late withdrawal tendency. It will persist. It will remain till the end of September. So these are the results, causes, and these are the consequences of climate change. Flooding due to excessive and sudden rainfall. Once there is a sudden rainfall, this will result into excessive and sudden rainfall will result into flooding. This is related mainly to the following factors. The flooding is related to many factors, but the main factor is the climate change. Interaction between western disturbances and monsoon system also will cause the flooding. Southwest monsoon and Bay of Bengal branch of monsoon both being active at the same time. Okay, Bengal, the branch coming from Bengal side and branch from southwest, they are coming together at the one and the same time, being active at one and the same time, will cause the flooding and climate change. Development of intense depressions over oceans, समुद्रावर खूप मोठी वादळ तयार होण्याची tendency, and rainfall more than 150 millimeters in a day. This is a very significant occurrence nowadays. There is a rainfall which is more than 150 millimeters in a day, and this is considered again as a result of climate change. These are the monsoon flood hit states in 2019. There were a series of floods that affected over 9 states. Again, I will not go into details, but this particular map is self-explanatory. Which area experienced floods? Other states hit by heavy rains include Jammu and Kashmir slightly, Odisha, and West Bengal also. So all these areas they experience flooding. Again, this is considered as the result of climate change. This is the Panchaganga area and the basin of Panchaganga. Floods caused by climate change in addition to human causes are like this. The August 2019 Panchaganga floods, you know well about this. The flash floods in Kerala, 8th of August 2018. Then Brahmaputra floods 2011, again a result of climate change. Kashmir floods of 2014. Now we know that these were definitely they are caused by the climate change, not only by the human interference in the ecosystem, not only a result of siltation, not only a result of the tourism industry and the building and construction for tourists, but it is mainly a result of climate change causing everything changing. The hydrodynamics has changed totally. There are few other consequences. We'll in brief we'll see all those. Okay. So the waterlogging and health problems. This is again a major concern. Okay, especially in the coastal areas, and because of that, the areas which are adjoining to coastal areas in the interior parts. Health problems and waterlogging. The methane plumes rising from Arctic permafrost. This is slightly technical. The amount of methane released from the microorganisms dwelling in lakes and freshwater beds will increase several-fold for each degree Celsius the Earth's temperature rises. This is all methane coming out from the permanently frozen Arctic areas. And this is going to be a very dangerous scenario in near future, because these methane plumes will also affect the human health. Okay, and this everything will be spread along the along many areas, over the many areas in the world. This is an example. Siberia, gases are released from permafrost soil. This is a permanently frozen area. Large volumes of organic carbon are stored in the permafrost. Permafrost permanently frozen. Kayam Surupi Barf ita असतं नेहमी. The release of these gases has serious consequences, as I just now told you. Okay, so but this is an example representative. Siberia. Increase in the incidences of forest fires. जंगलांना लागणारे आगी आहेत त्याची फ्रिक्वेन्सी पण वाढलेली आपल्याला दिसते. Last year also we experienced this in many areas. Now this is not only this is not found only in the coastal areas. Let me tell you, this is everywhere. In many semi-arid and arid zones of India, there are more frequency and more incidences of fires. This is a result of climate change, increase in the temperature. Subaqueous biota, which contributes to the production of calcareous materials such as shells, algae, skeletons, will also be reduced. This particular the frequency and the abundance will be reduced by climatic change. This is again a representative picture. It is a Vagatar beach, Goa. Organic detritus. This is organic detritus, which is deposited at the time of a low tide. In intertidal sectors will also be affected adversely. You do not know how these areas and these biotic things how they are affecting the total biotic chain, biological chain. These are sea grasses and seaweeds. किनाऱ्यावर आपल्याला हे दिसतं गवत बऱ्याच वेळा येऊन पडलेलं. Climate change threatens these seagrass beds, which support endangered species like green turtles. Basically, the green turtles, they are endangered by these seaweeds and seagrasses because their frequency, occurrence, etc., and their properties, they are changing because of the climate change. The most direct evidence of climate change impact on the coral reef comes in the form of coral bleaching. याचं bleaching होते. All these corals, they are losing their original color and they are getting degraded. These corals are praval, which refers to the loss of coral's natural color due to expulsion of the zooxanthellae. This is a major effect, and corals are the major biological stores on the Earth's surface. So we have to take care of these corals more because they are getting degraded at a very fast rate. Saltwater intrusion, as I told you just now, the water, especially along the coastal areas, is getting more and more saltier. Another serious impact of rising sea level could be in the migration of saltwater up the rivers. Saltwater may also seep into inland aquifers comprising critical water supply. As Earth's temperature rises, it is primarily the oceans that absorb the extra heat. समुद्र हे जास्त ही heat जी आहे ती absorb करून घेतात. Even small temperature changes can have far-reaching effects on the life cycles of marine animals from corals to whales. Now, in order to minimize the risk of dangerous human interference in a climate system, we need to limit temperature rise to 2 degrees Celsius above pre-industrial levels. That is to say, you cannot allow the increase in the temperature more than 2 degrees Celsius, So all our efforts should be in the direction of controlling the temperature rise. That is the only solution for the temperature rise, control, and incidentally the climatic change. Okay, now we come to the last part because we have only 40 minutes time. Ever since the coronavirus pandemic struck across the globe, several reports have emerged highlighting the rejuvenation of environment and return of many species to their natural habitats after the lockdown. Lockdown नंतर आपल्याला जसे हे सगळे positive effects दिसतात, we can also see the negative effects also. Okay, but these are the positive effects. This is before the lockdown situation. This is after. This is murky, polluted water of Yamuna river water gives way to pure-looking blue water. This is now the scenario in Yamuna near Delhi. Okay, this was before coronavirus, and this is after the corona and the all the measures that we have taken. This you may be knowing. Okay, the drastic measures taken by governments because of the spreading of the novel coronavirus, the shutdown of factories, commercial establishments, and vehicular movement, that has resulted in a drop in the pollution levels across the world. Pollution levels have dropped to a maximum level at many areas around the world. Himalaya is visible for the first time in 30 years. Levels in India have dropped. This particular photograph has taken from the northern part of Kashmir. Okay, you can see how clear it is. That is mainly because of the dropping of pollution levels. Mother Earth seems to have rejuvenated itself. Smog has given way to blue skies. Marine life is seeing increased activity. Pollution levels have dropped, and animals as well as birds are moving about on their own accord. This is a dramatic fall in pollution in Europe. This was the picture in April 2019, and this is the picture 13th of April 2020. The red dots indicate the polluted areas, and this is the scenario. So this is a major event. The air quality index, it has sank to as low as 93 last month in New Delhi as compared to 161 in March 2019. This is the graph which shows the air quality index and how it has dropped, because this is the most polluted area in our country, New Delhi. You see how clear the skies are here. Okay, so this is the data which gives you and it will give you an idea about how the pollution has decreased. All of this shows that the pandemic is resulting in more room for animals to thrive even amidst the margins of urbanized existence. This is a picture from Thailand. Monkeys on the hunt for food in this area north of Bangkok, where tourists who normally feed the animals have stayed away as a result of the virus, and this is taken up by the monkeys. They are freely roaming in the streets, and this is an urbanized area here. The nationwide lockdown is also providing perfect condition for the olive red turtles to lay eggs in Odisha's Gahiri Matha beach and Rishikula's Rukeri. The lockdowns have shown the improvements to air quality that are possible when emissions are reduced on a global scale. So we have to take care of this. When the emissions are reduced on a global scale to beyond a particular limit, then only the future is very bright. Okay, last two slides only. I will conclude by showing these two. COVID-19 has been an eye-opener. It has shown people as to how the earth can bounce back to life if humans allow for it, in spite of local and global climate change. Let me tell you one thing before I conclude. The climate change is not only global, it is also local. We confuse the local climate change with the global climate change. Global climate change mainly is in the increase of temperature all over the world. But the local climate change may be reflected in terms of, say, the more incidences of storms, okay, the flooding and the cloudburst, etc. Cloudburst may not be a global phenomena, it is only a local phenomena. So there is a local change, climate change, as well as there is a global change. We are not supposed to mix up these two issues. Global change is different, local change is different. Many times what we experience is a local change. Although it is a climate change, it is a local one. And this year if we experience some local change, it is most likely that we will not experience this particular change next year. So the situation has many, shapes and many corners. So we have to look at this particular complex issue from that point of view. Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot, sir, for the explanation. Yeah, sir, you may turn off the screen sharing and you can turn on the video now. Tushar, there's one more question you can note down from the chat.
Yes.
Sir, we request you to switch over to your video and turn off the screen sharing.
Video by. Okay, should I? Give me 2 minutes.
Okay, no problem.
Just a minute. You will read the question and I will answer, or should I read and answer it?
No, I will read out the question.
That will be better. You read out the question, I will answer.
Yeah.
Tushar from our side will be asking you the questions.
Okay.
So we can see you now. If you can just turn off the screen sharing, we will be able to see you as a main view.
Screen sharing, okay. I will stop the screen sharing.
You are visible to us now. Thank you.
Yeah.
So Tushar, you can start the questions now.
Yeah, first of all, I would like to thank Karlekar sir for his informative session on behalf of all the participants. So in the meantime, during the session, we have received a lot of questions from all the participants. So I'll read it out once and then he can answer. And if any more questions are from your side, please feel free to write it down in the chat box so that I can read it out. Okay, so first question is from Satish Patankar. He wants to know what is the ocean heat content.
Okay, you want to know the exact amount? If you want to know the exact amount, you have to, because at this moment I will not be able to give you that, because it is changing from ocean to ocean. It is increasing, but the Indian ocean content differs from the Pacific Ocean, Atlantic Ocean. So there are different, figures for these oceans. Okay, but
so he wants to know about the concept of ocean heat content.
Okay. See, the temperature received by the Earth's surface and the temperature received by the ocean, there is a total difference in that. The heat received or the temperature increased, and the heat received by the continent and the land goes back to the space immediately or quickly. However, in the ocean, you will see that the ocean is a big storehouse for the heat for many days, the temperature, and because of that there is always an imbalance between the heat contained in the oceans and the heat which is received by the land. That of course that causes the monsoons and the winds. That is the the concept, heat content.
Yeah, the other question is from Guru Prasad Karlekar. He wants to know if the melting polar ice is the reason or the indication of climate change.
It is the reason. It is an indication. It is not the reason. It is the indication. The temperature is increasing because of many other factors, as I told you just now, for volcanic eruptions, the change in the axis, the change in the distribution of continents, and many others. There are many astronomical reasons for that also, and the cycle is getting repeated. But initially it is reflected in the melting of ice. So it is an indication that the temperature is increasing and it may cause a climate change. Yeah.
Okay. Other question is the mean sea level same across all over the oceans, or is it different?
It is different. It is different. For India, it is different. For America, it is different, because you have to consider what is called as an equipotential surface. Equipotential. Normally, what we see is our assumption is that the sea level will be same everywhere, but it is not like that. Considering the Earth as a geoid, the sea level changes, or it varies. The average sea level, the mean sea level, even along the along our east coast and the west coast, the sea level, the mean sea level is not same. Next.
Okay. Another question is, are there any precautions to prevent ozone depletion? And also, what can be done at the individual level to combat with these dangers?
Exactly. This can be done by many, adopting many ways, changing the lifestyle. The increase in the carbon content should be controlled. That is one. Forest fires and all those things, forest cutting, etc. All these things we have to control all this, and you can control this thing. Yeah.
So one more question from Gopal Chipunkar. He wants to know what is the probable solution for coastal city like Mumbai, which cannot be shifted. Can the sea walls act effectively in this case?
That's right. A very good question actually. The coastlines, the Japan areas, they have tried this. However, it was not a successful experiment there because of the tsunamis, and we don't get tsunamis here, and it is less likely that Mumbai will be affected by tsunami, because the tsunamis are created by the earthquakes which take place on the ocean floor, and where there is a plate margin which is about 3,000 kilometers away from Mumbai. So there is no danger of tsunami. But this can also be a solution, building the big walls. But the best solution, which is suggested nowadays all over the world, is to shift the population in the interior, away from the coastline, say considering a distance of about 10 kilometers, 5 kilometers, depending upon the configuration of that coastline. If the coastline is a rocky coastline, you need not shift your population for 10 kilometers. But if you are a resident of Kolkata or that area, those areas, plain areas, you have to shift the population for about 10 kilometers, or you have to find out that particular critical distance at which the population can be moved. But that, at present, that is supposed to be the best solution. Yes.
Yeah, the other question is from Aniruddha Kerkar. He wants to know, in the present situation of the COVID-19 pandemic, is it helping nature to restore its losses, and also with respect to ozone layer reconstruction, the magnitude?
Yeah. The ozone layer definitely is improving, and there are news items regarding that also. Since I was not having much time, I could not show you those slides. But there are definite indications of ozone layer, the improvement in ozone layer depletion. What was your another question? Can you please read it again? Sir?
With respect to the ozone layer reconstruction, the magnitude behind it.
Yeah, that I answered. What was the initial part of that question?
Helping the nature to restore.
Yeah, it is surely helping. There are many, news items coming that there is a regeneration of the environment which is taking place. Most of the rivers, their water is getting very fresh now. There is no contamination of water in most of the rivers. The effluents from the chemical industries, it has stopped, and the rivers are showing very fresh water. There are many incidences. The environment is definitely getting improved. There is no doubt. Yes, sir.
Yeah, so there are many questions related to the climate change effect. The first is, how is its effect on rocks and the soil quality?
Very good. The climate change is deteriorating the soils. The soil quality is actually decreasing. The human is also responsible. The human activities, they are also responsible for the decrease in the quality of the soil. But because of the changes they are taking place in the hydrodynamics and the other factors, the soils, they are degrading because of the climate change. The temperature increase is is I mean actually causing the more weathering of rocks, increase in the. However, these things are very slow. It's not like a volcanic eruption. It's not like an earthquake. The climate change, the temperature has increased this year, and next year you will see the change in the rock. This doesn't happen normally. So this will be, I mean, you can see this particular effect after some years. But the experiments are going on, and these experiments, they indicate that the rocks, they are getting weathered, they are getting eroded at a faster rate now as compared to the previous years, which is a result of hike in the temperature, increase in the temperature. Next.
Also, can you elaborate on the effect of climate change on the reproductive cycle of aquatic animals?
Yeah, it has been found, especially, I mean, that has been reported by some fishing industries and the colleges working in these areas, that some of the aquatic animals, they have changed their reproductive cycle. They have not only changed their reproductive cycle, the season, they have also changed their areas. I know the exact and a particular example in the Arabian Sea near Ratnagiri, where we have seen that the areas which were known for the reproduction of a particular species, we don't have now the reproduction of that particular species there. The organisms, they have, the aquatic animals, they have shifted that position to some other place. They are now avoiding the areas which are more polluted, which are getting more hotter, etc. So they are being used by the biologists, biogeomorphologists, as an indicator of climatic change. This is a very good question. Yes, sir.
Yeah, so there is another question which says, is there any known climate change in history of Homo sapiens, but before the pre-industrial era?
It is reported actually, but there are no evidences. There are not many evidences for that. It is a suggestion. It is a suggestion. And in the geological literature, if you search on the net also, you will see that there were incidences of climatic change in those times. However, they are not proved beyond doubt. They require more evidences. Yes, sir.
Yeah, there's one more question from Atharva Pawar. He wants to know if humans are responsible for climate change. So what efforts can be are needed from individual human, and also with respect to the AC usage, air conditions use and everything.
That's right. That's right. The use of AC, use of cosmetics, that is actually increasing the chlorofluorocarbons in the atmosphere, the lower layer, that is troposphere, and they remain in the air for many years. They slowly go upwards, and thus they are causing the climate change at a local level, as well as at a global level after so many years. So these things are there, and human activities, they are basically the major reason for the climate change in recent years. In the geological period, which is known as the Anthropocene, that is last, say, 10,000 years, and especially last 1 to 2,000 years. Human activities, they are the major factor in the climate change. However, you also see that the global climatic change is not affected much by the human activities. The human activities, they affect the climate change at a local level, and it culminates into a global change after some years. That is what the theory says. Yeah.
Yeah. One more question: is this large-scale farming affecting the climate, and also what can be done to again revise it like properly?
No, I will not be able to give you that answer. But what I have read is this particular large-scale farming is not having any effect on even on the local climate change. That is what I have read. But I am not an expert in that, so I will not be able to answer that properly.
Okay, sir. Yeah, the other question is from Shana. It is asking the digging of mid-sized lakes with connection to river flow at distance of every 2 kilometers. will it help controlling the floods?
That actually is practiced in Brahmaputra river. That actually is practiced in the upper part of Brahmaputra river, digging up lakes, and this is more profitable in our area. Let me tell you, this is more profitable in our areas, in Maharashtra, on the Deccan Plateau. The digging of wells is definitely more profitable. That's right. Digging of lakes, yeah.
Yeah, thank you, sir. That are all the questions we have got. Thanks for all the question understanding. And any other participant, if they have any other questions, please feel free to drop in the chat box.
I hope, Tushar, most of the questions we have already covered.
Yeah.
I think we are already past 12 p.m. now.
Yeah.
And if they have any more questions, they can email to us. We'll be sharing with the speaker and getting them, getting their doubts clarified.
Ask me also, no problem.
Yeah. Okay,
Huh?
great.
Yeah.
And we'll be sharing the feedback form with all the participants. Please share your feedback and your thoughts and opinions on today's session. Thanks a lot, sir, for joining the session and giving your insights on this very important topic. And just a second, I'm also Sachin may please give the vote of thanks.
Yes, sure, Vaibhav. Yes, sir, it was fantastic session, and we really enjoyed the entire information, and you also answered all the questions very nicely.
Thank you, sir.
I hope everybody enjoyed the session, and we will keep you updated with our next session. So far, this webinars, this online knowledge series has been really good, and we are getting very good response from all the audiences. So, and we are getting responses from across the states. We are getting responses from Odisha, getting from South, Madhya Pradesh, everywhere. So we are really happy
Kolkata
to
and all the places, yes.
Yes, Kolkata. Yes, we are really happy to reach out to more people. And yes, stay tuned with us. We will be sharing the next session's link whenever we'll be getting with new things. Thank you so much, and
Thank you, sir.
hope you enjoyed this. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Goodbye.
Thank you. Thank you.